wealth, so that you are able to feel supported as you're bringing into your business all the wonderful premium clients you desire, and that the wealth of your life and your personal and your business actually is maintained in a healthy way, so that you expand your wealth container. Okay, so when you're at six figures or multiple six figures, you tend to think like, okay, well, I got this. Like, I know what I'm doing. I figured it out. It's fine. I understand how it works. But it's actually one of the things that I've noticed a lot with my clients who are at multiple six figures, is that that's the place where it's almost the hardest to get support, because of the misconceptions that the business was built on. Because, you know, when you're starting, you're kind of doing the grind, right? Like, you're pushing, you're making it happen, you're kind of doing a lot of things. Then you get to the place where, like, all right, my business is working, it's all good, I feel secure in how it's happening. And at the same time, you feel like in order to go further, you need something else. You need to expand how you're going to show up, so that there is space and ease and this good feeling of consistent flow in your life. One of the things that happens with business that is gotten to almost six figures or right past that six-figure mark is that it was built on doing a lot of things to make it happen. And then when the person gets to that level, if they do not change this process, they end up feeling burned out. So in order to not feel burned out, something needs to change. And one component of that consistency of wealth is actually support. So first, let's look at the issues that tend to come up at that place, so you can recognize when you are in that energy. For example, feeling like you should be able to do it all alone. This is one of the main misconceptions I see, is that almost like it's admission of failure if you get support. Like, well, I got here myself, I should be able to do this myself, why should I have any kind of a support? When actually that's a twist that we play on ourselves in order to keep ourselves utilizing the same techniques that got us to that place of six figures. But the problem is, it will not get us further. So if you are at the six-figure mark or multiple six figures and you want to go beyond, you want to double your income or go to seven figures, that means in you there is a desire to expand and serve at the highest level, but it also means that support needs to be a component of that. And if there is an issue with receiving support, there will also be an issue with receiving clients, by the way, and receiving wealth into your life. So when we see support almost like a failure of like, oh, that means I couldn't do it myself, that's a problem, because support is not meant to do it for you, it's meant to help you do it. Right? So another misconception is, I must do more. So when something is not working, a lot of times if you have a successful business, if you have clients, if you are an expert at what you do and you're already at six figures, it feels like, well, if I want to go to the next level, I just have to do more. And I must be missing something, because whatever I'm doing doesn't seem to be getting me further. That's a component I see so often, is that somebody who worked hard to get to six figures then doesn't know how to get to multiple six figures, or gotten themselves to 200, 300,000, and then they don't know how to go beyond, because if they use the same tactics, they actually have to do more, and there's already no more room to do more, right? So then it feels like you're getting yourself trapped even more with your own belief. So this idea of having to do more, and then, oh, am I missing something? Because I'm doing things and they're not working, so that must be that I'm missing something. That's a misconception, because that takes the concept of doing as something very important, puts it on a pedestal, says this is what it is. When actually it's more of a being that's required to be balancing the doing. So that's the wealth energetics part of what I teach, is that there are two forces in the universe. Obviously, you get the more masculine energy and the more feminine energy. So you can think of them like more fluid energy, magnetic, more structural energy, electric. So those two forces need to come together. And when they do, that's when we're able to go to the next level. That's part of what I work with my clients about. So when we think that we need to do more, we actually cannot create consistent wealth, because doing more can't get us into balance when the being part is already missing. Obviously, I'm already speaking to the people who are doing. So if you're only at the very beginning of your business, yes, you do need to do a lot, probably more than what you're doing. But once you already at the level where you have paying clients, when you are at six figures, when you are feeling secure to some extent in your expertise, in how your clients are getting results and how you're delivering your services, so you figured out a structure that works for you, that means you already doing what needs to be done. So after that, it's the being component that is required to create that consistent wealth and to pull in those clients that are at the higher level, the more premium level. Okay. Another misconception is seeing support as entrapment. I know it sounds really weird, but I've actually run into that a few times when people think of it like, I have to do what coach tells me. So that's a really big trap that we can put ourselves into, because that means you in that situation thinking you have to give your power away to your coach. And that is never a good idea. Your power is your own. So whoever you hire as a coach is meant to be a person that supports you in a different way, not in a way of taking your power and giving you some things to do and assuming you would be like a child that will do it. Like, coach is not a parent and coach is not a teacher and you're a student. It's a different kind of a relationship. So when we think of getting support means that I'm going to be trapped doing whatever my coach wants me to do, that's a limitation, because instead of seeing support from a coach or a mentor as a means to get you to the next level of you, you're seeing it as something that's going to actually minimize you, which means the point of power. So energetically, we will have that power point within us, and that's what keeps us in alignment. So energetically, that point of power is then given to a coach, and that you never want to do. You know, whoever you hire has to be the person that respects your PowerPoint within you. It's not something that they should want to take away from you, or you should have to give to a coach ever. So your PowerPoint is your own. And anybody who comes into your world as support meant to be more of a advisors or people who are holding you up to help you when you stumble a little bit, not permanently, not all the time, because obviously if you're already at six figures, you know what you're doing. You got there, you understand what to do, you build it on your own power, and having support is meant to be to enhance and propel you forward, not to trap you in somebody else's agenda. Okay? So emotionally, when we experience those misconceptions that I just named, like I should be able to do it all alone, that was one. Another one is I have to do more, I must be missing something. And the third one, I'll be trapped if I have a coach because then I have to do what he or she says. Those misconceptions feel awful. They feel like when you're actually in that belief, it's like there's a pressure to conform to something that you think you should be instead of you truly just being you. And it feels unkind to you. It feels kind of difficult and unkind, like you're not respecting yourself. Mind you, this is not necessarily anything external doing it to you. This is a misconception if those are the things you're experiencing. So put a 1 in the comments if this is something that you feel. Those things like I should do it all alone. So put a 1 in the comment if that's something you feel. Or I must be missing something, I must do more. Put a 2 in the comments if that's something you feel. Or seeing support as entrapment, like I have to do what somebody tells me. Put a 3 in the comments if that's something you feel. Those are the things that trap us in actually the place in our business where we are and limit our capacity to attract unlimited wealth. You know, that consistent flow of wealth into our lives. So it also feels like you get confused on how to do things. If you ever experience that, that's also a sign of not getting proper support. Because when we get confused, that means that we internally can't quite find our own power, right? So if you're confused, your PowerPoint is still in you, but you can't locate it, you can't find it, you can't sort of hear it in that moment, which is fine. I mean, it all happens to pretty much everybody at some point, right? Because if you're having some emotional storm or something else is happening, your emotions might cloud your inner true voice. But when that happens, you want to have someone on your side that is able to help you find your voice. So confusion is always a sign of not allowing proper support into your life. Also, emotional waves. When we have these kinds of things going on in our lives, when we're like totally awesome one moment and the next moment, oh, it will never work, or oh, this is so great, I have the most amazing clients, the next moment is like, oh, nobody will ever sign up to work with me again. And up and down, up and down. If you experience that, put a 4 in the comments. That is something that is totally a sign of not allowing proper support into your life. So if we're talking about consistent wealth and consistent premium client attraction, we essentially sabotage it by not allowing ourselves to receive the very things that we desire when we are in those misconceptions. Okay, so for the ones of you who don't know me, I am Eugenia Oganova. I am Wealthenergetics business and marketing coach. What that means is that I help you save years of pressure and forcing yourself into strategies that don't work for you, and instead align you to the way that does work for you, to your natural soul design, to how you're meant to do things, so that your business can go on to unlimited wealth, to this consistent flow of attracting to you the things that you actually meant to resonate with. So that way you only do what works for you. Instead of doing many things, you only do few things that are actually applicable to your specific design. So it's a very custom process of helping each person stand fully in their power. Okay, so today we are talking about consistent wealth and premium client attraction as something that there is a kind of like a secret key in order to get that, to unlock that. And that key is actually has to do with support. So allowing, receiving, letting something to come in, that's as much of part of the consistent wealth as doing something. So I'll give you 3 points here as to what is the secret sort of to get this consistent flow of wealth, the Wealthenergetics, into your business. Okay, so one is maintaining emotional baseline. I've talked about that before in other videos, so I'm not going to go too far into it here, but in this class I just want to mention that. Emotional baseline means that when you're having these waves, which we all do, some people have minor ones, some have huge ones, you want to be able to keep yourself level throughout. And when we're not doing that, when we go up and down with the wave, we sabotage consistency of the flow of wealth. So in a practical sense, that would be if you're writing a post when you're in a down because you're doing it out of obligation, let's say, it's not going to create any result. Nobody's going to reply to that post. If you're making a video and you're supposed to be all excited and happy and you're actually in a lower part of the wave, so you're essentially faking it, that is also going to show up in people not responding or interacting and so on. So every time that we create some sort of an internal discrepancy with what we're trying to put out, in other words, your emotions are in a negative, but you're trying to put out something positive. There's a discrepancy. That creates an energy interference pattern, which means whatever you're broadcasting, right? Like your energy resonance that goes out from you to the awesome audience that you have for those people to potentially become your clients, for example, it does not click in with them because of this discrepancy. That's why having the emotional baseline, so that when you go down, you don't go down with the wave. Your emotions might go down, but you maintain frequency-wise the same level. That's what then allows you to create the consistent wealth attraction. Okay, so that's one component of the secret here. Another component is staying open despite external circumstances. This is one thing I see probably the most common, is that we tend to look in the mirror to try to see who we are, instead of deciding who we are and then having the mirror image change. So in a practical sense, that would look like, let's say you're doing something, like maybe you're launching something, or maybe you're creating some sort of a free product or something like that, and you're expecting certain result and it's not happening. Maybe you were, I don't know, posting in somebody else's group and you were invited even by administrator of that group to create some collaboration. You did, and then suddenly like it doesn't get that much attention. Maybe 5 people respond, but not like 200 that you were planning on. So when that happens, what is it that you as your system do internally? If we go down with the external circumstance, then we actually minimize our ability to attract. So that's another really important piece, and I work with my clients on this all the time, because this self-mastery of being able to maintain yourself despite any external circumstances at the point of inner certainty and alignment is essential in order to create consistent wealth and attract premium clients. Okay? And the third point is having the right coach. When we think that we have to do it all alone, we actually sabotage our ability to step to the next level of our own power. Okay, so self-coaching is absolutely required, but it can only go so far, because when you self-coach, you are limited to your own perception. And let's say that is awesome if you can tune into your inner voice and find that and everything, but it's still, there's so many blind spots that we all have, no matter what level you are. You could be at multiple 7 figures or 8 figures, and you're still going to find that somebody else can point something out to you that you'd be like, oh, I didn't see that. So that's actually part of why getting that kind of a support is necessary, because all the courses and all these mini products that like you can purchase online, they only go so far. They are procedures. They are cookie cutter approach that is preset. This is how you should do it, do this, and this is like the technique or something like that. And let's say you're purchasing it in some sort of a course, but that does not actually give you the empowered charge that you're looking for from the support that comes your way. It only gives you a strategy, and we already figured out strategy is the doing, and it's not about doing more, it's about doing differently and integrating the being. So when the being part is not there, all the doing in the world isn't gonna get you to multiple 6 figures and beyond. Right? So here are 3 things that I myself as a coach totally stand for as a Wealthenergetics coach. One is that the coach must reflect your greatness to you and help you be more of you. This is what I totally stand for. So all my clients, they all feel that type of energy from me, is that it's not about like, okay, I'm going to make you do something. It's about, no, you have the power, and that is what needs to be reflected to you when you forget that you have the power. So it's essentially a reflection of your greatness that sometimes you yourself might have difficulty seeing. And it's something that's meant to help you discover more of you. Correct coach will help you understand you more and discover more of you, not make you into something you are not. Okay, another thing that I totally stand for is that the correct coach needs to empower you by sharing their expertise, their knowledge, all of that, but in a customized way. Not a cookie cutter approach as in, okay, I've done, I don't know, lunch this way, it worked, so there it is, now I'm going to teach you. That's essentially a mini course. That's not coaching. Coaching in a higher sense, it's actually sort of a form of, it's like a mentoring and empowerment and all of those things together when you feel seen. This is how I work with my clients, is that they always feel like, okay, I see them. I know sort of this inner spark in them that they desire, and even if they forget, this is still something that could be reflected back to them to remind them, okay? So empowering with the expertise. So when you're looking to hire a coach, you want to look for someone who's going to help you feel powerful, not somebody who feels powerful and you feel small next to them. That does not make any sense, okay? And the third thing is that the coach is meant to keep you accountable for when you go into the lower self components, into your fears, into your issues, into your resistances, so that you keep your confidence, okay? Accountability is a necessary piece of growing to the next level in business. And very few people are self-accountable enough that they can just do this themselves. Most people are not. So That means when we don't feel like doing something, a lot of times things just don't get done. And when you have your business that is at the place where you're looking like, okay, I need to scale, I need to go further, and I want to go even deeper with my clients, and I want to expand to a different level of income, well, that means your wealth container must expand. And to do that, there's definitely some inner work required and procedures in a strategic sense in the material world, like your marketing, your visibility, your business strategy. All of those are required in order to do that. So if in the process of doing that, you don't feel like you are consistent, that you can kind of stick to the process because of your emotional waves, this is where the coach comes in to help you stay on course. Okay, so and that actually feels amazing. That feels like you get this feeling of like you're free, you're empowered, you're being seen, and you have in you the inner strength to do what it takes, and it's reflected to you. So you know that this is something that not like you just imagined it and then wonder like, I don't know if I really am that. But if somebody is reflecting that to you, that is extremely helpful. So that's part of having support from a person, from a coach that actually is understanding you. Okay, so this is how I work with my clients, and right now the doors to my Conscious Future Mastermind are open. So if this is something that calls to you because you want your business to match your natural way, your soul design, like you understanding that the way you're doing things may be great and got you where you want to go, so you're an expert at what you do, you're already at this level of around 6 figures or maybe even multiple 6 figures, but you want to go beyond without having to work harder. You want to work smarter and be more in flow and more aligned and more to kind of figure out how this fits you. Not this kind of a overarching idea of like, oh, I would just like lay back and somehow it will work. We know that that's not how it works. If you have a business, you understand that there is work to be done. But if you know in your heart of hearts that, okay, I'm ready for the next level, but I don't want to do it the way I've been doing it. So the way that I got here, this is great, but I need to go further in a different way that's more self-respectful and more self-kind. Then I definitely invite you to apply to work with me, because this consistent wealth that is in alignment with your purpose, but also your design, which is your natural rhythm, is what we're going to do within my mastermind. So this way you also get in me a coach that can see you and support you in your power. So what I do is always look for the way that whatever that I see, I'm clairvoyant from birth, so that means I see energy, timelines, and possibilities, and a lot of different things, past lives, karmic patterns, and so on. When I bring that into a business strategy, that means that even though it's a group container, it's an intimate group container where each person gets their unique translation, which means you are getting your own unique, customized approach to how this wisdom can be anchored in, so that the Wealthenergetics is something that you understand and master, and then can create the type of a consistent business that you're looking for that takes you further. So I definitely invite you to apply. Put the word future in the comments, and then I will reach out to you and we'll see if we qualify you for the program and how that works. So inside my program in the Conscious Future Mastermind, this secret that I was talking about as to how to create consistent wealth and how to consistently attract premium clients. This is what we work with through Wealthenergetics. So we clean up the limitations that are on the way, like in the way of your process of getting there. So on your path, there are certain things that you installed based on your karmic patterns, based on your misconceptions about reality and how you were brought up and conditioning. We clean that up, so that when you step forward into your next level, you do so with freedom. You do so with feeling like you are actually doing something the way that you want to be doing and the way that you're meant to be doing. Not with this like, oh, how do I know if this is even right? All those fears that we experience, they are part of the limitations. So in my Conscious Future Mastermind, we clean this up. so that what you have is essentially left is you, so that your business is based on you. It's compatible with you. It's matching how you are meant to do things. And then we build your entire business strategy and marketing strategy and messaging and positioning and all the actual business components, but wrapped around that central power point of you. That way, even though, yes, you're getting tons of business strategy and for marketing and everything for your specific business customized, you're also getting the upgrade in yourself, so that you are upgrading yourself to a higher level, not just in frequency, but in a standards of what you hold yourself to. And in doing that, you are evolving, of course, but also so are your clients. They are having better results, and there is a more flow that's happening in your life because you are masterful with your emotions, with your mind, with your business strategy, and you're able to maintain it consistently. So I definitely invite you to apply to my Conscious Future Mastermind. It's gonna start soon. I can't wait to see you there. It's gonna be totally awesome. We have always a great time because there's so many different ways to look at different issues, and it makes it kind of fun and interesting, and it propels your business forward. So put the word future in the comments and I will message you so we can connect and go for the next step. Schedule a call to see if you qualify. All right. My love to you.